Hello. Hey, how's it going, guys? Good morning. And as some of you have noticed, I've finally gotten around to sorting out some music for the streams. I figure, especially with the really long Faz stream ahead of us on Wednesday, we're gonna need some kind of music, so I needed to sort it out. And I had a little bit of time this morning before starting off the stream, so I decided to sort that out. How's the level, though? By the way, guys, let me know if I need to turn the music down more or if it's too quiet. What do you guys think about the sound level? It's kind of hard for me to test that at the moment. So, you guys watching live, what do you think before we get started here on the Marasai? Some coffee too. Yeah, the Faz stream I'm expecting is going to be quite a long one. Sound looks like you guys are confirming, at least for the time being, for you guys, that sound levels are good. Okay, so that's good. All right, music is perfect. Okay, good, cool. How's the family? Family is good. My wife's off to work. Kids are off to their school, kind of kindergarten school. And how are you guys doing? Over there on Twitch, Gert, Kirafuda. Good morning, guys. Let's see, a few people here on Facebook as well. John Gundam Yatham. Cool. All right, and of course on YouTube, a good amount of you there on YouTube already, right from the start. Thanks for coming out and hang out. I'm sure a lot of people probably thought this was the Faz stream, so they saw I was live and came in straight away. But no, the Faz stream is going to be on Wednesday, or if you're in the US, that'll be Tuesday evening for you. So not quite yet. This was on the to-do list for a little while. So this is going to be another one of those kits where I am going to do the unboxing and review all in one video. So you guys haven't seen the unboxing yet, but in the unboxing, you'll know that the reason that I'm building this kit now, all of a sudden, is because this is one of the kits that I intend to use for my GBWC entry. So that is why I'm suddenly building a kit from, when did this kit come out? 2012. It's really been... It's hard to imagine that the Marasai has been out for that long. It doesn't seem like it came out that long ago. Seems like it just came out fairly recently. But it has been a while, hasn't it? So I'm sure there's probably a good number of you who maybe built the kit already then in that case. But maybe not. I don't know how really popular of a kit it is, really. It's pretty cool, Master Grade, so I assume there's probably a lot of you are into it. Alright, let me just get the manual kind of out of the way here. Gonna need that. Alright, and let me also adjust this a little bit here. Get this a little bit brighter. Like that. It's looking pretty good. Maybe there we go. Okay. So yeah, as always, guys, if you have questions, put those, either tag me in the comment or put it in all caps so I can pick that out. There, Gundam Yatham asked, "What's your idea for your GBWC entry?" Okay, well, I'll cover this all in a video soon once I have all the kits ready, because there's one other kit too that I need to build first before that. But basically, the idea is the Marasai here I'm gonna turn into an Ewok type. I don't know how it's pronounced. Marasai, the EWAC type Marasai. There is no one that exists as far as I know, but I'm gonna make one. I'm going to turn this into that, and then I'm going to have like the main kit is gonna be an XS kit bash with a deep striker, so an XS with deep striker parts sort of like kit bash together. That's gonna be the main mobile suit, and then it's gonna have an accompanying mobile suit. It's gonna have an accompanying I don't know really what to call it. It's gonna be the kit that I'm using for the base is gonna be the Delta Plus, but I'm gonna be modifying it to look a little bit more like a Nero. So it's gonna be kind of like a mix between the Delta Plus and the Nero. And that's gonna be riding on a base jabber next to the XS Deep Striker kit bash. So they're gonna be like in the middle of doing some like adjustments or work like on the Deep Striker. So it's not gonna be like that the Deep Striker is an action scene. There's gonna be like some crew working on that mobile suit, but then there's gonna be the Ewok type Marasai is gonna be like just found them amongst like some debris, and I'll get back to that in a minute. And so the accompanying what's the word? It's not accompanying. What's the word? Escort unit. Yes, thank you. The support unit or the escort unit. The escort unit is gonna be protecting the excess, so it's gonna be like doing the arm out, like you know, like if you when you're driving and you have kids. I don't do that because my kids ride in the backseat, but you guys know what I mean. It's gonna have his arm out and shooting at the Marasai, which is kind of popped up from behind some debris, which has just kind of found them doing some work on this this new XS Deep Striker kit bash mobile suit. So it's gonna be pretty cool. I think it's gonna be a ton of work though, so that's why I really need to get started on it. But as for the debris, what they're gonna be doing is they're gonna be like above the XS and the escort unit and the base jabber are gonna be like above a piece of the colony, you know, like the colony part that opens out that has like all the mirrors on the inside of it. So it'll be like a big thing of mirrors basically on the underside of those. So you've got like the two mobile suits, and then below them like a kind of thing of mirror broken off part of a colony, and then like popping up from underneath that, like in the foreground if you're looking at it from the front, popping up. So actually when you're looking at it, you'll see the back side of the Marasai. The Marasai will be popping up and like just discovering them there. Okay, so that's kind of the general gist of the idea. It's a little bit hard to explain. I think I probably need some more visual explanations, but that's my idea, at least for the time being. And it's going to be a ton of work, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish it on time, but that's my idea anyway. When does GVWC start this year, or when do the entries start for North America? I'm not sure about North America, but I'm sure you can probably check that information. Is probably on the Bluefin website. Would be my suggestion for you. I know in Korea here it usually takes place, we only have one event here, so it's a little bit different. And it usually takes place around August. So I've got some time, but obviously it's a pretty complex idea that's going to take some time to get it all together. Because not only do I have to like arrange the scene, but like all just the modification work and everything to the suits. On the note of the Marasai here, for a moment, I got all the parts here for the backpack and the torso all separated here at once. So we're gonna, in the manual, I think you build the backpack later on, but I'm gonna be building the backpack kind of at the same time as the body. And so let's see. Here we go. So that's why I just kind of got massive parts out here at the moment. And noticing straight away, building the torso, that the way that the kind of frame of the torso is, at least the shoulder joints anyway, reminds me of the Master Grade 2.0 Zaku. So it seems like they definitely got some inspiration from that, or at least took like the idea of how the shoulder joint works at least. which is good because it's a great kit. That's not right. Is it? Wait a minute. There we go. And yeah, and for my GBWC idea, I would also like to incorporate some LEDs. Usually, I don't really care too much for LEDs, at least in my own work. I don't really ever think too much about putting LEDs in my stuff, just because it's just not really something that I really am too into. But that said, for this particular diorama idea, I think LEDs would add a lot to it. Just like a couple, not like a shitload, but just a few LEDs in some kind of logical places I think would look really good probably for this. So I started to look into like the basics of LEDs a little bit, because honestly I don't really know anything about it. I think I've done like 1 or 2 kits that had like a very simple LED in it, and that's pretty much it. So I'm looking into that. Oh, it's backwards. Sorry, Kiro Fuda, I'm sorry to very late come to answering your question, but you said thoughts on God nippers or our other nippers you find good that don't have to break the bank. Kiro Fuda, I would most definitely recommend, if you're worried about the price of God hand nippers, there's definitely other nippers that you can use that I could recommend that are perfectly very good, and you don't need to spend a ton of money for God hand nippers. That said, God hand nippers are really nice. Of course, I'm not going to say that they're not good. They're nice nippers. It's just that you certainly don't need to spend that much money for nippers. So, I use the nippers from USA Gundam Store. Mine are just like dirty as hell now, and like I've obviously used them quite a bit. I don't know when it was that I got them, but I've had them for a while. I got the USA Gundam Store side cutters from like a test batch before like the initial release of them, so I also don't have the actual like official ones, or like, yeah, you guys know what I mean. But they're very good. I mean, essentially the same thing as God hands, essentially. And the same thing goes for like Tamiya side cutters. You can get those, which are pretty much like very similar. I won't say they're the same thing because people will get testy about that, but they're almost the same. So yeah, there's other different options that you can use. Let's see. Yamine Gira. Good morning. Soul Gino. Good morning. How are you guys doing? Let's see. It's an interesting part there for this neck piece. It's not very often you see like the neck of a kit and you have like a separate piece which like is just adding the detail to the neck. Kind of interesting. But that will just go on here. I'm building this a little bit out of order. This is like, this part for like the collar part is actually part of the construction of the head unit. You're supposed to build that together and put it together like that, but we're just building this first, and then I'm gonna build, oops, oh no. Is this gonna be one of those kits where if you don't have the LED unit inside there, then it's just gonna sink this part into the torso too easily, or do I need to click this? Oh, it's supposed to click, okay. There we go. Otherwise, if you don't click that into place, when you go to push the head on there, it's just gonna drop that whole part down into the body there where the LED unit is supposed to go. Anyway, okay, so I don't have an LED unit to stick it. Oh, I do maybe. I don't think any of them are working though. I have a couple of like the Chinese bootleg ones, which just don't really work well. Good, about to start working on my GBWC build. No spoilers. Okay. Yeah, you don't have to spoil your idea. I don't really feel too bad about telling you guys about my idea for the build. I don't think anyone's going to steal the idea. And even if they do, you know, two people, even if they start off with the exact same idea, even if someone were to steal the idea, doesn't mean that the build would come out the same anyway. And I've now got recorded proof that I said it first. Do you think, Noam asked, do you think Bandai will release MG kits of G-Reco now that they re-released it as a movie? I don't think that Bandai will release MG kits, plural, from G-Reco. I think probably at some point we'll likely get a Master Grade G-Self, but I would highly doubt we get anything else other than that. I could be wrong. We may not even get a G-Self. I don't know. While the series was not really successful, and the kits weren't really all that successful, I don't think, it's still a Tomino series, and it still had, you know, at least a good number of episodes. It's not like G Savior, for example, which just only had like the one movie, you know. William asks, are you coming to Orlando MegaCon 2020? I don't plan to. When is that? At least for this year, I'm still here in Korea, so coming over to the States. While I am hoping to come to the States for a different event later this year, it's still not easy to just pop over anytime. So you got this clear piece here for the camera for the backpack, and then you got this pretty interesting aspect here where you have these little hatches here on the backpack, which are for let's see, it's this one, are for the balut system. If you're going to use the balut system with this, which unfortunately was not included with this kit. It's an extra set that you can buy separately as a premium Bandai set, or you can get it with the Master Grade Hyakushiki with the balut system. But got these little hatches on here which should open up, maybe a little bit tricky to get to them. There you go. So those open up like that for attaching on the balut system on the backpack. Then, let's see, we need to put in these first. I'm always asked, are you going to working on progress on GBWC? Yeah, you guys will see, you know, once I've definitely started on my GBWC project, you guys will see plenty of work in progress on that. I'll certainly keep you guys in the loop on that. Like I said, it's not going to be like secret or anything. It's something that's going to take a ton of time, so I can't not share that with you guys. Otherwise, you know, those of you who are watching my content will be watching thinking like, or just wondering how there's a big chunk of my time going into not creating content for you guys would be weird. So I have to turn it into some content as well, of course. Yeah. Elfman, it's the 1/100 scale. I've never liked it. We need more 1/100 scale RG stuff. Or what? Elfman, are you talking about this kit? Josh, how did the sandwich and surprise flowers go? Well, the flowers almost didn't happen because the flower shop wasn't open. The flower shop that I usually go to, if you guys missed it on the live stream on Friday, it's the Valentine's Day stream, I was talking about how after the stream I was going to go grab a sandwich and take some flowers to my wife at work. Yeah, the flower shop wasn't open, but luckily I was able to find one nearby. The problem with that too was that Shoot, hang on, sorry. The problem was, too, that I was on like a deadline, or like a time. My wife was on her lunch break, so like I had to take the sandwich, at least the sandwich, I had to take while she was still on her lunch break. So, you know, if I couldn't find a flower shop straight away, I had to just forget the flowers and maybe just, you know, get them later. Would have been fine, but I wanted to take them at the same time at that lunchtime. So, yeah, luckily I was able to find a different flower shop nearby and was able to get those and get everything to her there at her work on time. So yeah, it went well. So as you can see, for these bits, I went ahead and like half cut them out ahead of time, and I'm not cleaning up the nub marks on them super well for the time being, just kind of giving them as best I can, just a clean cut here at the nippers, just for the sake of it. Whenever it comes time to actually paint the kit and everything, I'll have to go back and sand the nub marks here on these parts better. But for the time being, just doing it like that. I'm actually not even sure, you know, because I'm going to be using this for GBWC and modifying this kit a bunch. I'm actually not even sure if I'll end up using this or using maybe something different or something. So I don't know. For the time being, they're cut clean enough to be able to work here for this, for our purposes. What's a good brand or set of chisels to start scribing? Madworks I think are pretty good just because they're cheaper, and I think, at least from my experience using them, they still work pretty well. So I would say check out some Madworks chisels. That also, aside from me, that also seems to be the general consensus from other people that I know that use them. They're pretty good. Obviously, like BMC chisels are probably the most famous, and so I don't know if it necessarily, you know, I'm no scientist, but if it necessarily means that they are in fact the best quality, I'm not sure, but they're certainly good quality as well. It can't be like the most highly regarded chisels in the game if they're not at least of pretty good quality. So if you want to spend a little bit more money, you can get some BMCs, but I think the Madworks chisels work well. When will you finish your painted MG Dom? I'm not working on a painted MG Dom. So, yeah. I was going to. When I first built the MG Dom, it was probably like a year and a half ago or something, I don't know. It's a while ago. I was planning to paint it up straight away, but you know, other things came up, whatever, I didn't get to it, and so that idea just kind of went away. And actually I'm kind of glad too, because the idea that I had for painting that, now I feel like I wouldn't really like it. So I'm kind of glad I didn't go that route. Didn't spend the time. I'm sure I would have liked it at the time, so I mean it would have been cool, but Hello. I'm really new to the hobby. Oh, hang on, sorry. Misnomer is saying this, but what's that? What's this? Though I guess I can make a peep at. No, what are you talking about? I'm really new to the hobby. Only a couple months ago. Is the Marasai a good kit or just average? Can't wait to see Zaku's review. Obviously I haven't built the kit yet until just now, but everything that I know of this kit is that it is good. I mean, and it's not a very expensive MG either. So if you like the design, I can pretty much guarantee that you're gonna enjoy the kit well enough, you don't necessarily have to wait for my review, but I will of course try to get the review out to you guys as soon as possible. It'll be probably in the next day or so. We've got the FAZ live stream on Wednesday, and there's obviously a ton of parts to get ready for the live stream, so this afternoon and probably on into the night as well, after taking the break in the evening for family time, of course. I'm going to be working on just getting the FAZ ready first, because that all needs to be ready before the live stream on Wednesday. Other than that, yeah, I need to review, or just do, like, record my review for the Dragon Dress Sophia kit that we built on Friday, and then reviewing this kit as well. But getting the FAZ ready is going to be first and foremost for today, after this is done. And kind of the reason for the rush, people kind of assume, just from comments I've gotten on kits in the past, whenever I'm reviewing like a new kit, a kit that's like just recently come out, I'll always have like someone in the comments making some comment about how I'm just reviewing like this new kit because it's new, like I'm just trying to get all the views by being like the first to review a new kit or something, and not really. I mean, obviously reviewing a new kit straight away is good for views, but typically, at least in my case, the more important deciding factor usually comes down to just my schedule of like what I have planned. And in the case of the FAZ, this Thursday I have plans with my wife, so I won't be able to do the live stream on Thursday, and I didn't necessarily want to wait until Friday when I figure I can have it ready by Wednesday, so might as well get it ready by Wednesday and get it done. Get the live stream build done on Wednesday, and then I can do something else on Friday. There's no reason to wait until Friday, was what I was thinking for that. So yeah, that's why we're doing it. That's why I'm in a hurry to do the FAZ, because why not? Why not get it done and then move on to other things? Alright. The waist. We'll do the head here in a little bit. We skipped past that, obviously. And why is that not fitting on there? Because that's the part for the back skirt. Is it? Yeah, right? Yes, it is. The front skirt and back skirt part look very similar, so I was like confused for a second there. You can see like the little, it's in the front there, he's got a little more of a nub there, a half chub. Yes. Yeah, Gert, yeah, the colors of this kit are pretty nice, although I definitely prefer the colors of the unicorn version. But these colors are pretty cool as well, yeah. Definitely. Not really a big fan of the rifle for this kit, though. That's a nice detail underneath the skirts, though. That looks good. And then, got some more piping bits to do here. And let's put a couple more of these parts together first. Your Armor Komodo review inspired me to paint my first kit using it. I made the RG Banshee Norn FB. Cool. Yeah, the Armor Komodo paints were pretty cool. I enjoyed, or pigments and kind of base layer paints as well, but yeah, some pretty cool stuff. Not the type of thing that I like see myself using a lot, often, because I'm just don't necessarily do that kind of build generally often, but when you do want to do something like that, they work pretty well and pretty cool. There we go. Alright, now that's all done. Yes, enough. Just wanted to get these other parts kind of out of the way. Hey? Enough so that we can do these piping parts in peace. So nippers are over here. Ever thought of an SD contest? Yes, I've not really thought too much about it personally, but yeah, the idea has been brought up to me before about doing an SD contest, and let's see, 6. Hey? What? Sorry, hang on. 8, okay. Yes, about an SD contest, though, I think it would be interesting. It's possible. I'm not against the idea. I just don't know how much interest there would be in that, because I know there's some people who are into SDs. But not a lot. That said, I mean, I've done like the current contest with the Nachin tank. It's not like the Nachin kits that I'm using for the contest currently are like the most popular kits out there, and like everyone loves them. They're like before I did the contest, they were relatively unknown. I think doing the work in progress videos that I did before the contest, and then starting the contest, I think probably was like the first that a lot of people had heard of the kits. Unless you spend a lot of time following Japanese builders on Twitter. That's pretty much going to be the only place where you're really going to see a lot of them. Otherwise. And then we also had like the Matt K and Gunpla contest last year with Lincoln. And obviously Machine and Krieger are not something that's like super popular with the general audience either, so I have done contests where the subject matter was not something that I know is super popular. So I think it'd be fair enough to do an SD contest in the future as well. So yeah, and I'm sure Adam at USA Gundam Store, I'm sure he'd be in for it as well. So something to consider, yeah, surely. One thing that people have asked for a long time though is a gym contest, like a grunt contest. So I think probably that's maybe what I'm not gonna say for sure that's what the next one is gonna be, but that would be something I would look into doing first, probably, because it's something that I've had more people ask me to do a gym contest than an SD contest. But both of them, I can assure you guys, are ideas that will happen eventually. It's just that we can only do, one contest at a time. And it's kind of hard to have contests ongoing all year long. But it almost always tends to be the case. So it's more often than not that to have a contest ongoing. But I enjoy, running a contest just so that it gives you guys some kind of motivation to try some stuff. And it gives you a chance to win some free stuff. Everybody likes that. Yes, grunt contests. So yeah, I mean, especially after I did the custom Zaku contest a couple years back. So after doing the custom Zaku contest, people wanted a custom gym contest as well, so I feel ya. It makes sense. so I'm sure we'll get around to that. This year being the 40th anniversary of Gunpla, though, it would probably make sense to have something more like a contest based around the RX-78-2 or something. Also, not necessarily saying that that's going to be the case or dropping any hints or anything. It's something I haven't even thought about what the next contest is going to be, just because we're already on this current one at the moment. So don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I think contest based around the RX-78-2 would be pretty fitting for this year anyway. So, alright, so there's that. So, let's carefully put on these parts without shooting anything into space. Like that. Oh no! I put this part on upside down. Okay, once again, carefully. Yeah. And then that's supposed to plug into here first, like that, and then attach this onto the back. Interesting kind of way that goes together, but alright. And these front skirts. There we go. Alright, looking cool, looking cool. This is definitely, though, a design that I love the Marasai's design in theory, but I think with some very simple like modifications to the design, it can look much, much better. Like, for example, the front skirts here. The front skirts, like the general shape of them I like, but just this tiny little detail here, it's kind of like weird. Why is it like that? It's not really quite right, I think. So I think just a little bit of like reshaping of the front skirts and changing the detail of the front skirts would look much better. So that's what I mean, like, by general modifications to the design. So I'm really looking forward to working on the Marasai for my GBWC project, because like I said, I'm planning on turning it into an Ewok type unit, and I think it's going to be pretty awesome. Brian, thank you for your support there. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy belated Valentine's Day. Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you. I appreciate that. Whenever I'm late, which is more often than not, for certain holidays, or like, especially like sending Christmas presents or something, or birthday presents to my parents back in America for their birthday or for Christmas or something, my dad always says, oh, it doesn't have to be just one day, or like, your birthday doesn't have to be just one day, so that, like, it's okay if your presents or card or whatever comes late, because then it just makes the holiday last longer. So yeah, thank you. Valentine's Day doesn't have to be just one day. Brandon Marquez, no, you're not that late. I mean, we're a third through the build, I'd say. Yeah, the detour girt, yeah, the detail on the front skirt is a bit odd in its placement, and it's also a bit odd because it's a half circle. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but it's like a little half circle. It's a very odd choice of detail. So that's why it just kind of looks strange, in my opinion. Let's build the legs next, so we can get this guy standing. whenever you're building a kit, I don't know if you guys share this idea or share this feeling, but whenever building a kit, it's always such a satisfying experience once you can get the thing standing up. You know? Once you got the legs on there and you can stand up, whether the upper body is all done or not, just once you can get it standing, it's such a satisfying feeling. I love that. So I always like to get the legs done. And Goof Troop, thank you for your support there on the super chat, Goof Troop. Any experience doing in hydro dipping parts? Hydro dipping is something I experimented with briefly years ago, using nail polish paint. Because I had heard, I had seen a video or something online, or someone had done it, so I tried it on a couple parts. And in my, I did a couple of experiments, a couple of tests with that on like some scrap parts, and in the experience that I had, it looked cool. I mean, it came out all right, but the problem that I was having with it was not going well into the recessed details. So what's a good part? Like, for example, not really any of these parts. Like for example, here on the backpack, you have like this recessed circle detail there, and say like if I was dipping this part, like the paint wouldn't fully fill all that inner detail. There would be like a bubble or something there. So you had to, and I know you have to be careful like how you dip the part like at an angle to avoid getting bubbles and stuff like that. But yeah, I just found that it was kind of tricky to get it to work well. But that said, I tried it a couple times on a couple parts, and ultimately I just didn't really think it was something that I really wanted to do on a kit, so I didn't really feel the need to invest more time into trying it out. But if it's something that I really wanted to do on a kit, then I think I'd be willing to go back, you know, and look into it again and try to sort it out, how to do it better, probably because I've seen it done. Well, I don't know if any of you guys are familiar, then maybe you can correct me on this, but I think I've seen, I think it was Richard Flanagan. If you guys spend a lot of time on like Facebook groups and stuff, you guys may be familiar with Richard Flanagan. I think it was him, if I remember correctly, who did hydro dipping on like a master grade Shinanju, I want to say it was. That's the like best example that I've seen that comes to mind. And I'm not sure the process of exactly how he did it either. I'm sure he didn't use nail polish paint. I'm sure he used a different kind of paint, but yeah. Otherwise, I'm sure it can be done. You just have to know what you're doing. You need some practice, and you need to have a good idea. It's just going to look like a mess if you just kind of go into it haphazardly. Raid asked, of all the kits you have built, what are your top 3? I don't know. People ask what's my favorite kit, and I can't answer my favorite kit. I don't even think I could answer my favorite top 3 either, though, to be honest. Sorry to say. Because I really like loads of kits. It would be really hard for me to really break it down into what's the reason that I like this kit. Because like the reasoning why I may like really like one particular kit is maybe I had like a really cool idea for like a really cool paint scheme or customization that I did to the kit, and that's what made me really like it more than another kit. Like for example, like I didn't, but I'm just saying this for an example, but if I were to build like the HGUC Easy 8, and I had a really cool idea of like how I was going to do like this really cool custom like what do I want to say, MSV kind of style color scheme for it or something. And so that would probably make me just enjoy the kit more, just because of the fact that I was going into the kit with this really cool idea that was like really having me hyped about it, if that makes sense. Whereas otherwise, if I was just building the kit, without any real intentions of, doing much with it, other than that, other than just snapping it up at the time, then I could enjoy the kit. But I may not necessarily feel like it's like one of my favorite kits I've ever built. So, yeah. You get what I mean. On just a couple of non-Gundam things that I want to talk to you guys about, just because obviously my entire life doesn't necessarily revolve around Gunpla. I watched Marriage Story with my wife last night. We didn't finish it yet. We still have the last 20 minutes of the movie to finish, so we're not quite done yet. My daughter woke up, so we had to put her back to sleep, and we were both kind of tired, so we just thought, let's just get our daughter back to sleep and we'll finish the movie later. So I haven't seen the very end of it yet, but Marriage Story was actually pretty good. I was pleasantly surprised that it was better, at least not having seen the ending yet, but it was better than I was expecting for that. So that's nice. I think Adam Driver was really good. I mean, I like him as an actor. So, and I think pretty much everything that I've seen him in, I like him, and very much, including Saturday Night Live. Man, Adam Driver is great on Saturday Night Live. I think I talked about this in a previous stream, because he was on just a couple weeks ago. But I loved on when he was on Saturday Night Live 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think it was, and there was the ketchup bottle sketch. If you guys haven't seen that, I would really highly recommend you check it out. It's super funny. I really got a kick out of that. It's a marriage. What is it? What's the name of it? The exact name of the sketch I forget now, but anyway, it's like a ketchup wedding or something like that. It's really, really funny. So if you just search like Saturday Night Live Adam Driver ketchup, or just SNL ketchup, probably you'll see it straight away. Really, really funny video. I liked that a lot. And so yeah, anyway, I like Adam Driver, and Scarlett Johansson I like as well, but I've not really, for the past few years, I've not really felt like really into her acting, just because she's just been doing the Black Widow thing, and like everything else has just seemed like kind of like, oh, I'm also doing this other stuff, but I'm just getting paid doing Marvel. But yeah, she's really bringing it too in Marriage Story, so was quite pleased with both of them in the movie. ScarJo was rocking it. Adam Driver was really good too. It's a very interesting kind of take on the story, and I was also really pleasantly surprised because it's the first Noah Baumbach movie that I've seen in a while, and like when I was in college was I think that was like when The Squid and the Whale came out, or at least that's when when I saw The Squid and the Whale, and I think that was the last Noah Baumbach movie that I can remember that I've seen. And it's just such a downer, and like I just wasn't really looking forward to another like downer Noah Baumbach movie. But while Marriage Story is a downer, it's a pretty stressful movie. Like especially when you have a family and like you can, like you're married and you have kids and you can kind of relate, in a way, to that. Then it's really kind of stressful to see that, like how the movie plays out. But it's not like bad in the way that I was expecting a Noah Baumbach movie to be. So that's good. She was good. What's going on, Ricardo? She was good in Jojo Rabbit. I've not seen that. I'll have to check it out though. But yeah, someone asked if I'd seen Parasite yet. No, I'm seeing Parasite on Thursday. I mentioned a little bit ago that I have plans with my wife on this Thursday, so that's why I can't do the Faz stream. Our plan is to go see Parasite because of it winning the Academy Award. They are re-releasing it in theaters here in Korea because it came out here like almost a year ago. It's been out for a while here in Korea. So they're re-releasing it in theaters, and neither my wife or I have actually seen it yet. So we're gonna go see that in the theater on Thursday, and we're actually gonna see 2 movies because it's a rare chance for us. When you have kids, it's kind of hard to get away to go to the movies without them. Every once in a while, we'll take my son because he's a little bit older. We'll take him to see a movie if it's like a kid's movie. It's like appropriate, of course, but to get to the movies, just my wife and I by ourselves, is not an easy thing to do. So she has the day off, and so we're going to see 2 movies. We're going to see Parasite and 1917. 1917 is just now starting in the theater here. I think it's been out in America for a little while, right? But 1917 is just now opening here in Korea, so we're gonna see both. So it's kind of a very Oscars heavy week for us, watching Marriage Story and then Parasite and 1917. We didn't necessarily mean it. We weren't thinking like, oh, let's see all of the Oscar nominated movies. It just happened to be that way, that we just decided to watch Marriage Story last night, and then we're seeing the other 2 movies later this week. But yeah, that feels a bit odd. Have you watched Dr. Dolittle? The old Eddie Murphy movie, Dr. Dolittle? Oh, are you talking about the Korean movie? Isn't that a Korean movie? There's a Korean movie that's like that, right? That's just recently come out. Rodrigo, greetings from Chile. Greetings to Chile. So on Thursday, what are you going to do with the kids while we're out? So both of my kids go to like school, like daycare kind of school during the day. So they'll be at school while my wife and I usually work, obviously, during the day. But she has the day off, and I'll take the day off, at least part of the day, to go watch those movies with her. I'll certainly do some work later on after that, but yeah, 1917 was pretty nuts. Really cool style with the continuous shot cam. Yeah, I don't think I've seen the like official like American trailer for 1917. I've only seen the Korean trailer, and in the Korean trailer I actually didn't realize that the movie was all like set up as one long shot. I just heard that later online later on, because I'd seen the trailer and I thought it looks pretty cool, I want to see that, but I didn't gather from the trailer that it was one continuous shot, and it's a shame because that's obviously a pretty important part of the movie. I don't know how much that really plays into like the story of the movie, but at least it's a good selling point to get people to go see it, just from a marketing standpoint. So it's a shame they didn't play that up more in the Korean trailer, at least from what I saw. it just kind of showed it as your typical World War I movie, but maybe in the US trailer they played that aspect of the movie up more, but I don't know. I haven't seen it. Dr. Dolittle, the movie with Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, that one. No, I have not seen that, and I don't think I will. It looked pretty stupid, in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe you liked it. Maybe it was good. Maybe should I see it? I didn't ever watch it because it looked pretty bad. But maybe I'm missing something. Maybe it's better than I thought. Seems like the kind of movie that I might consider putting on if I'm on an airplane and there's nothing else to watch. But other than that, probably not. But maybe I'm wrong. Open to the suggestion. Yeah, I don't think the US trailer emphasized it either. I actually heard about it. Their pre-show for another movie. They're playing behind the scenes thing. Okay, yeah. Dr. Dolittle was one of the worst movies of the year. Oh no. Are Korean trailers usually different from US trailers, or is it edge case? Yes. Most of the time, Korean trailers are different from the US trailers. I'm not really sure why they do that. I think because maybe the movie companies know that there's this just a little bit different taste. The audiences are different, so maybe they want to tailor the trailers more for the audience. Obviously they want to make sure they get the most people into the theater to see the movie. So if they know Korean people generally prefer a different type of trailer, that's it makes sense that they would do it that way. So yes, the trailers are usually different, and I'm not sure it would be like the best way to summarize exactly what makes them different, but I can tell you that the Korean style of trailers, if you guys think, I know this is a common complaint that people say about trailers in America, but I'm telling you it's worse here, where too much of the movie is given away in the trailer. It's way worse here. If you like, they'll give away like major plot points of movies in the trailer here, and it's really ridiculous. Like twist moments that you're supposed to be shocked by when you see it in the theater are just given away. And I know that happens in the US too, and people complain about that, but I'm certain it's worse here. Because like I've seen different trailers, like I've watched them with my wife. Like usually when there's like a movie coming out that we're excited to see or something, we'll watch the trailers together. But yeah, when we like, there's certain movies we've watched the Korean trailers and the American trailers, and even my wife too. She's like, "That just gave away the whole movie." Yeah, what the fuck was that? So it's weird. I was really glad though that Parasite is being re-released in the theater here. Like as soon as it won, right after I heard the news that it won, and we were talking about, oh, we haven't actually seen it yet. I told my wife at the time, I said, I'm sure they're going to re-release it in the theater here now. And sure enough, they did. Just because with it getting critical acclaim in the US, they're going to want to promote that here. And, the movie companies here have no problem putting the movie back in the theaters. So, yeah, why not? Hey, Vinny, I don't know if you're still watching over there on Facebook, but hello to Brazil, and hi to you, Vinny. I miss you, buddy. It was great hanging out there in Chile for a while. Looking forward to it again next year. If any of you guys watching are unaware, Vinicius Pompeo, he does work for Ammo by MiG and does mostly airplanes, right? Mostly. So if you guys are into that stuff, you should check out his work if you guys don't know him on Facebook. He was one of the other guests there at the event in Chile, so it's cool hanging out together there. Are the English movies dubbed or just subtitles? Amos, to answer your question about dubbing and subtitles here in Korea, it depends on the movie. If it's a children's movie, then they usually have both versions available, usually. Sometimes it's only dubbed for kids movies, but generally for children's movies, they have subbed and dubbed versions both available. For just regular movies, though, it's usually only subtitles. They typically don't do a lot of dubbing. They will for later when they're gonna release the movie on TV here in Korea. Then they'll have dubbed versions, but at least in the theater when the movie is first out, they won't have dubbing for that. It'll just only be subtitles. People are very used to just reading subtitles all the time. Outside of America. I was going to say here in Korea, but I'm sure it's just outside of America in general. As I know you guys saw Bong Joon-ho. If you guys watched the Oscars or if you saw anything about it later, I think Bong Joon-ho mentioned about how American people need to get more used to reading subtitles. It's true, certainly. There's a lot of great film out there that is not in English. So, wait. Why is this part not going on here? There we go. That click into place, and this part on both the legs is not a super tight fit there at the back, but alright. I mean, it fits tight, but there's a little bit of a gap that doesn't quite close up, looks like. Cold PC there on Twitch said, "Hey man, I just got into Gunpla and your channel has helped me so much." Well, that's good. Thank you. I'm glad you found the content helpful, and I'm glad you found the best hobby in the world. Yeah. Isn't it, guys? Hello from Columbus, Ohio. Hello, Ghostly and the Bunnies. I don't know if I've ever been to Columbus, maybe briefly, but I've spent plenty of time in Cincinnati, because I've got family in there in Cincinnati, so nice area. There's the legs done, and the back skirt is very loose. I don't have this. Yeah, that's plugged on all the way. It's just that the back skirt's kind of loose. Oh well, it doesn't really matter too much. All right. How was Gunna Nathan asked, how was meeting Child of Mecha Tim in Japan? That was the first time you guys met in person, right? Yeah, that was the first time we met in person. It was great. Tim's a funny guy, of course. Fun hanging out together. And you know what is great about meeting people like in real life? Like friends that I have like from Gunpla or that I've met online like through Gunpla, and then when I meet them in person, the great thing is that when we meet in person, we really don't ever talk about Gunpla for the most part. It's like the same thing goes with Tim and with other people that I've met too. It's friends that you have online through this community, but then when we meet, you know, we're talking about just our lives, you know, in general outside of the hobby, because we're all just normal people, right? Like, while our lives online may revolve around Gunpla, we have plenty of life going on outside of Gunpla. So it's cool to meet up with people and just kind of get to know them more like as normal people, right? Hello from Detroit, Michigan. Also a state that I love, Michigan, but I don't think I've ever been to Detroit. I'm pretty sure I've not ever been to Detroit. I've spent a lot of time in Michigan on the west side of the Mitten, on Lake Michigan there. A lot of nice beaches around there, like South Haven, what else is around there? I forget. It's been a while. I think there's South Haven and there's Grand Haven, right? They're both towns there. But anyway, so yeah, some nice beaches there. That'd be the east side of Lake Michigan, opposite of Chicago. But yeah, never really spent any time in Detroit. I don't think either. Gunpla in Miami. Hello there. On Twitch. Fun I get to say hi. Jeffrey Davies. Hello. Hi. Puerto Rico is having a Gundam store build day on the 22nd. If only I weren't disabled, I could go. Well, sorry to hear that you're disabled and can't go. Hopefully you can sort out a way to be able to get there or be able to get involved in some other event at some point. I wish you luck on that. And if there's some way that I can help, let me know. You send me a private message or something like that. I can see if I can help you in some way. Is there any connection between the Marasai and Char's Gelgug besides the colors? The bots look similar. No, not really much similar, and the colors actually really aren't even that similar either. I mean, like the red color is kind of similar, but the secondary color, it's much more orange on the Marasai. On the Char's Gelgug, it's very totally pink. Kim Jong-woo. Hello teacher. Hello 학생. 안녕. 너 누구니? Graduation's done, right? Yeah, it's the 17th, so not my school, I can't say my school anymore, but the school that I was teaching at had their graduation last week, and I wanted to go say hi to my former students, but because of the virus these days, everyone's kind of nervous to go to any big event where there's going to be a lot of people around. Let's see. Justin said Scarlett was really quite good in Jojo Rabbit. I'm normally not a fan of hers, but I thought she did a good job. Okay, well, I'll have to see Jojo Rabbit. The name doesn't even ring a bell. I don't know. Maybe in Korea it had a different name or something. And if you see how I cut out these parts for the piping parts, I cut out them with the number here attached so I can still see which parts are which. 정우야 4학년 5반. 아하. 오케이. 안녕. 정우야, 새로운 선생님 어때요? 알려줘요. 정우. 친구들 다 새로운 선생님 좋아요? Sorry guys for that. I'm just asking my former student who's watching apparently, how is the new teacher? How the students are liking the teacher who is there to replace me. The most huge kit collection still to this day I've ever seen. 아직은 방학이. 아 그래 정우야 그 여자 선생님 남아공에서 왔죠? 아니 12월 선생님 그 여자 뭐지? 이름 뭐지? 테사 선생님 1, 2, 3. What's your fantasy? What's my favorite kit of all time? I don't have one. I really need to pick a kit that's, because it's gonna be that people are gonna be asking me this question until the end of time. What's my favorite kit? So I need to just pick one, because every time it happens, I just don't have an answer. So. I don't know. I can't answer that right now, but I'll think about it, and next time someone asks, not on this day, but next time someone asks, because surely someone's gonna ask on Wednesday during the Faz stream. So maybe I'll make that one of my questions, because like we're doing for the Faz, doing a quiz for that. So maybe I'll make one of my questions to guess which kit it was that I decided is going to be my go-to favorite kit when people ask me that question. NASCAR lover. I was a teacher here in Korea. I was an English teacher. Got him Tristan? No. Not even for a joke. Would you recommend the MG Full Armor Unicorn Gundam Verka? Yeah, the MG Unicorn Verka is a cool kit, but just don't expect to do much with it. It's very much a brick. Even more so than just the standard MG is kind of a brick too. But the Full Armor is definitely a brick. It looks cool though. I was so happy when that came out, because I think like the fixed figuration was out first, and it looked so cool, but I didn't really want to spend all that money for a fixed figuration. I would have rather built it myself. And then the Verka kit came out, and I was like, yes, finally. So I was super hyped about that, and I love that kit, but it's not for everyone. That's fun, but teachers classes most. 그래. 정우야 고마워. 파이팅. 내년 5학년도 대사 선생님이 있을 거야. 다른 쌤이 안 와. 대사 선생님 계속 있을 거야. At least until 10월까지. I'd love to leave teaching USA, ELA, and head elsewhere. Yeah, I mean, if anyone were to ask me if I would recommend coming and teaching English here in Korea, I definitely would. I mean, at least just come over, at least just for a year. Just do a year here. And, just spend some time traveling around Korea, getting to know a different culture. It's a very enjoyable experience, definitely. 성우야, 잘 가. Zach is one of the reasons I got into Gunpla. Stumbled across him one day and I was like, man, these are pretty cool. Well, NASCAR lover, to you as well, I'll say. I'm glad you came across the hobby and found the videos enjoyable or useful, whatever. If the MG Marasai came with a few more accessories, then I would probably be, but yeah, Acid Blade, I feel you on that one, because especially the Marasai's rifle, I really don't like. The Marasai's beam rifle is probably one of the ugliest beam rifle designs, in my opinion. It's very ugly. The beam saber, that said, the beam sabers that it has are really cool in their design. But yeah, beam rifle is pretty awful. That's one reason why I like the P Bandai Unicorn version of this, because it has the weapon that it uses in Gundam Unicorn, which is the weapon originally used by the Hammurabi. I forget what it's called. It has a certain name for it. But the Unicorn version of the Marasai uses that weaponry of the Hammurabi, which is pretty cool. So I like that that version of the kit at least has some different weapons, other than the ugly beam rifle that this kit has. But, like I said, I'm going to be using this kit for customizing it, so ultimately I won't use that weapon. Yeah, these tubes are kind of a pain in the ass, like I said, and for the moment I'm not even like properly sanding them, but once you actually have to go in and actually sand and prepare all these, and painting them is not very easy either. So yeah, they're a pain in the ass. That's one thing, like with this kit and like the Zaku, the Master Grade Zaku 2.0, and any other similar kit that has this kind of parts. But like in the case of the Zaku 2.0 especially, such a great kit, one of the best Master Grade kits out there in my opinion. Just the Zaku 2.0 in general. There's a few different kits in that series, of course, but just in general, the 2.0 Master Grade Zaku. But that said, the one major, not necessarily flaw, but the one major downside of the kit is the tubes, and they're just such a pain in the ass. It's a necessary evil because you gotta do it. This is just part of the kit, but they're not enjoyable. That part of the build is not enjoyable at all. Certainly not. Okay. For now, that's done like that. And this part on here like this. Now the other thing of non-Gundam related media consumption that I wanted to talk to you guys about, or just mention to you, is that for the past week or so, I've just for the past week and a half, I've been watching a ton of Dr. Phil videos on YouTube. I don't know why, I'm like hooked on them. And of course, thanks to the YouTube algorithm, it just keeps giving them to me to watch. But I've been just watching loads of Dr. Phil videos. So that's been fun. I don't know why it's like so addicting. You know, I think it's just obviously just the dramatization of everything. But yeah, I think it's dying down a little bit now. Cause like I watched a bunch last week, and now I think like this week I don't know if I think I'm kind of over it. You know, I watched a load of them and kind of like had enough at this point. But yeah, something about that Dr. Phil. And the problem too is that, I was watching like a bunch of the videos on like the official channel, and I should have just found people uploading full episodes, because the problem is if you watch the videos on the official channel, they're just clips. Like they've got episodes cut into clips, and so you can't watch like the full thing. So it's kind of annoying. Dr. Phil is Jerry Springer with a master's degree. Right, exactly. It's like Jerry Springer with a little bit more like credentials. But then I also watched another video by like an actual like professional, sort of like critiquing Dr. Phil. That was interesting too. Basically talking about you know, from like an actual Dr. Phil is a professional, but from like a more professional sort of giving his take on like what are the actual like pros and cons of what Dr. Phil is doing as a mental health professional. It was interesting to hear that side of it as well. This is cool. I just want to point this out to you guys, how you like the head here. It's very similar to like a Zaku 2 head, you know, sort of essentially, and then you have these extra parts that will fit around that, so it's kind of just a cool aspect of this design. I saw your build, Mafuyu said, I saw your build of the Dragon Dress kit today, and I gotta say it does work with some Megami Device kits, but Kotobukiya changed their head design with every pair of kits. Okay, so I'll be sure to mention that in the review. Thanks for the heads up that it does work with some kits and not with others. Alright, there we go. There's the head, all done. You have a clear part there at the neck, and for the mono eye for piping up light from the... That? Yep. Zaku, are you gonna get the Bipu system? What's the Bipu system? I'm assuming that's auto-corrected and you meant to say balut system. Benjamin Freeman, were you asking about the balut system? And you got some autocorrect going on there? If that's the case, then no, I don't plan on getting the balut system, because like I said, what I'm going to be doing is modifying this kit to make it into an AWAC type, and so the balut system just wouldn't really make sense. But that said, like the parts for the legs or something, for example, like just the parts for the legs might kind of work to the design, so I haven't totally ruled it out. But I don't expect that that's going to be something that I'm going to want to use any parts of that for my build. Do you think you'll ever review any of the G System resin kits? Probably not. I probably won't get too much into any of the G Systems kits. I'm just not really that big of a fan of a lot of the G Systems designs, actually, to be honest. There's probably a couple that I could get into, but in general, I'm not super into them. Pacific Twist, what's the name of your drawer system? On my desk over there, that's Hobby Zone. It's the company that makes that stuff. The Zaku Luna Maria, is that good? Yeah, the Luna Maria Zaku design is cool. Zach, did you hear they're making a Xeon Soldier action figures? No, I have not heard about these Xeon Soldier action figures. It's news to me. A World Cup theme Gundam inspired by Dr. Phil. That'd be funny. Can you please tell us about your what your tattoos mean? Ace boy. My tattoo, this one on my arm here, is a Sephiroth tree from the Kabbalah. It's a Kabbalah tree of life. Basically, you can search it. It's not the easiest thing to explain, quite a complicated thing, but basically it's the symbol for... I'm noticing a couple of very hefty nub marks I missed on these parts. Oops. It's a symbol for the Tree of Life, but it's got a ton of stuff going on in the meaning of it, so it's kind of hard to boil it down to one meaning for that, but I think probably if you were to boil it down to one thing, you could say that it's a symbol for the creation of the universe. It's originally from, it's a Jewish mysticism symbol. I'm not Jewish. I'm not religious. I'm agnostic. in a non-religious sense, or in a religious sense, it's gonna be getting a little bit deeper than I would like at the moment, but religion in the sense of like the Stoic idea of religion, or in like the, I think this would probably also be the same for other different ancient Greek philosophies, not only Stoicism, but they generally thought of religion or like God as in, not as in the God of Abraham necessarily, but just some sort of cosmic power, sort of. Not as in any particular God. But just some force, and not necessarily something that you have to believe in or pray to or anything like that, but just that there is some sort of higher power. So I'm not necessarily saying that that's what I believe, but I do very much believe in kind of the ideas of Stoicism. I'm very much into Stoicism, so yeah. Anyway, it's not exactly like the Force either, because it's not something that like controls things or is used to control things, or is utilized like in the way that the Force is, as I understand it from being relatively a novice in deep Star Wars lore, but it's not exactly like that either. Greetings from Israel, and that tattoo is red. Not at all relating to religion, it's more spirituality. Yes, that's it, yes. Noam Grossman, that's a very good way to summarize that. Thank you. Yes, it's not relating to religion, but more spirituality. Exactly. Well said. So if you're interested, just Google it. You can find plenty of information about that and the different meanings involved with that. All right. I will say, as someone, I saw a couple people talking about this earlier, talking about the Luna Maria Hawk Master Grade Zaku kit, and it's so interesting to me how a kit like this from 2012 has like a more complex inner frame than that kit does. It's kind of a shame. That's right, like that, right? No, like this. There we go. Had that part backwards. There we go. Let's see. Hey Zaku, are you gonna get the Bippu system for the Marasai? I don't know. Benjamin, you're asking again about the Bippu system. I don't know. A Bippu tank system? I don't know what that is. I'm guessing you're talking about the Balut system. But I don't know what a Bippu tank system is for Marasai. What is that? How is the back skirt? What are you talking about? What is your main focus on? What is going on with you, man? In these questions. How is the back skirt? The back skirt is fine. It's a very loose here, but otherwise it's fine. And what is your main focus on this kit? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're on about, man. Also interesting that you have on this part of like the part of the arm, you have these very tiny little separate parts here for this really nice little bit of color separation here. So very cool, these are actual separate parts for that tiny little bit of detail there. You have to wonder if that would actually have been separate parts if they were to, you know, make this masquerade kit under different circumstances or something. Will you get the MSG head units? Des Krakon, someone asked me about this actually. I saw at least one comment about this last week when I was doing the MSV reviews. And no, I don't plan on getting the MSG option head units. I don't really like the look of them, for Gunpla anyway. I think for frame arms, maybe they look okay, but a lot of them look like Transformer heads. Which I'm not really too into. So, no, I don't have any plans to get any of those MSG option heads. I don't really like the look of a lot of them. If I'm ever working on a project where I think I might like to use one of them, then yeah, I will. But at least for now, I don't ever see myself wanting to use any of those for anything that I'm working on, at least in the near future. Digital Fanboy, you said you also noticed the loose back skirt armor. Okay, so I mean, any of you who have also built this kit, if you also noticed the back skirt being loose, I mean, it's just a common issue, and I don't expect it's going to cause any problems, because unless you're wanting to have the kit posed up like that, upside down, then the back skirt will be hanging down, and maybe you don't want it that far down. But I mean, even still, I don't think it's going to be that much of an issue. Marasai's back skirt is a floppy mess. Yeah, so seems like it's maybe a common issue. You guys are all chiming in on that. But yeah, I don't really expect that it's going to be a big thing. There's that, and then this one here. Also here, you can really kind of see how I'd have to look into the backstory, the development of the Marasai, but like for the arm here too, like the arm is also kind of very generally very Zaku-esque, and then you have like this new part added onto the back of it there. So yeah, I'll have to look into what's the development history of the Marasai. Is it developed directly from the Zaku too, or like what's the development history of that? Did Bandai make a P Bandai Marasai from Unicorn? Yes, for MG. Yeah, Winged Wolf. Yes, they did. There's there's a Master Grade version. I have it actually, but I've not ever built it yet. So I thought about using that kit for my GBWC entry, but I thought it's kind of a shame to use that kit and just customize it all and like not use it as the Unicorn version Marasai. Think we'll ever get an HG Bondak or an HG Bolanak Saman, since we have the Shirako units in HG form. Yeah, I think it's very likely we'll probably see a kit of the Bondak and the Bolanak Saman at some point. If they're HGUC or not, I'm not sure, because I think both of those kits would be really likely candidates for the RE line as well. So whether they decide to go and make those as RE100 kits or HGUC kits, I think is a good question. I'm not sure which way they'd go with those, but I think honestly it could go either way. I would be happy with either option, personally, because yeah, they're both really interesting designs. Not really particularly all that into, like, I don't love either of the designs, but I like them in that they're very unique, and I think they would make for cool kits. So I hope that Bandai will make them as kits eventually, but yeah, I think it could go either way. So we'll have to see. I'm sure it's just a matter of time. Alright. build here and here. Like that. And that. Like that. I think those two and the Psycho Gundam Mark II are the only Zeta suits they don't have HGs. Yeah. I don't know offhand, but if you say so, it sounds right to me. You're probably correct on that. Thompson Lin said, "Are you going to review the MG Turn X? I'm planning on getting the kit." You know, yes, I will, I'm sure, eventually review the MG Turn X. I actually bought one off a friend of mine who was supposed to send. I bought it like secondhand, pre-built. He had already built it, but then he was looking to get rid of it. So yeah, I bought it off of a friend, and he has yet to send it, and it's been a while. So I don't know if he ever sends that to me, then yeah, I'll review it. But it's already built, so I couldn't really do like an unboxing for it, and I should probably just get a new one, and just actually build it myself. That way I can do a proper unboxing portion of the video for it, and then also I know it's freshly built by me. If I'm going to be giving you guys my opinion on the kit, you know, then it would probably be good if like I actually put the time in building it myself and everything, you know. That way I know that I'm like really familiar with the kit and everything. And also, you guys know how kits get after a while. If it's built and it's just been in the box for a while, kits tend to get kind of rickety, so it'll have like loose joints, loose parts, things like that going on that wouldn't happen if it was the kit that I had like just built up myself. So the open hands are pretty cool. The style of open hand is very similar to the style of open hand used for the HG as well. So we got those there. Last pack magic. What's up, General? How's it going, Matt? Pick the bear guy kit for your favorite. It's not gonna happen. Yes, the same thing. My Japanese pals call it the Bippu system. Oh, I've never heard anyone call it the Bippu system. Sorry, but I wonder why they would call it the Bippu system instead of the balut system, or like some other different shortened form of saying balut system. Bippu doesn't really seem to make sense. It's probably, you know what it is. I'm sure it's a shortened version of BP system. BP stands for balut pack. I'm sure probably what they're saying is just BP. If you were to say just BP in Japanese, it would be Bippu. So that's probably why they're calling it Bippu system. BP system, balut pack system. I guess that would be my guess. And so okay, that sort of makes sense to me now. But yeah, kind of like how in Japan they call they don't say verka. If you say verka to someone in Japan, they have no idea what you're talking about. You have to say version KA, which is strange as well when it's based on the dude's name, Katoki, and so just you're just taking a part of his name, which would just be the first part of his name, Ka. I'm just using that part. Why they don't say Ver-Ka, I don't know. But weird. Japanese people are strange. I've been thinking about getting the Wound Warts. Would you recommend a Primrose and all the other add-ons at all? Well, sup Kyle, to answer your question about the Wound Wart, I mean, just the Wound Wart by itself is cool. Obviously getting any of the add-on parts is just going to make it more cool, so I mean, if you don't mind spending the money, then getting the Primrose or Hududu 2 part set for that would certainly make it even better. The Marasai is used to replace the Hyzak. Yeah, Acid Blade, I know that it's related to the Hyzak in that way. I didn't know it was meant to replace the Hyzak, but I knew like... So the Marasai, so it was developed from the Hyzak, because I thought they were both in use like generally around the same time. But I could be wrong. I don't remember my Zeta era history that well, to be honest. I'll have to check on that. Have you built the Unicorn Marasai? Nando, to answer your question, I've built the HG Unicorn Marasai. Yes, the MG, as I mentioned earlier, I have not built it yet, but I have it here. Zach, do you ever experience Gunpla burnout? Jeffrey Davies, no, I never really experience burnout, no. Travis, in the car community, Bippu is VIP styled cars. Yeah, I can understand that as well. It would also be like a Japanese way of saying VIP, just as VIP, but saying Bippu. There's no V sound. Edward, thank you for your super chat contribution there. Very much appreciated. When you do your next contest, add a theme to it. I get what you mean. So like aside from just saying like for this contest, for example, we're just doing the notch and tanks. So instead of deciding just what kind of kits you use, but also add a theme like after the war is over, like that. So showing like the mobile suit or mecha or whatever, like weathered or whatever, to show how it is like after the war or like something like that. That kind of theme is what you're talking about, I guess. That's a good idea. It's a very interesting idea. I think that would probably make sense to do a theme like that for whenever we do like the gym grunt build, or like for example if we were to do a RX-78-2 themed contest this year for G40, set a theme like 40th anniversary theme, so people should try to do their build in some way to show that it's like commemorating the 40th anniversary, something like that. I get what you mean. It's a good idea. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you. And let's see, and Bert Spargo also, thank you for your contribution there as well. It says, ironic they call it Gunpla but not Verka. Yes, it is. I know. Yes. Why they don't call it Gunpla like that. Gunpla, not Verka. Pajanke. Who knows? Amos said, what grunt suit would you want to pilot if you were going up against a Gundam? It depends on what Gundam I'm going up against, and it depends on if I would like to live, because your chances going in a grunt suit against a Gundam are not good from the start. Obviously, I guess if I would want something strong, so the Jesta is technically a grunt, right? Jesta would be pretty good. Marasai is not bad either. Not a bad grunt suit, as in a mass-produced suit, at least to a degree. Let's see. Okay. We will never go a live stream without being asked about burnout. Yeah, Gertz, that's exactly right. We'll never go a live stream without being asked, what's your favorite kit? And asked about burnout. Yes, these are two of the most common questions that I get asked, but it's okay. I'm not bent out of shape about it. Just common questions people like to ask. Do you think that Bandai will release an RG Hainu Gundam? That's a good question. I think it's very possible. I wouldn't expect it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they came out with one. The problem is that just because of the nature of how people like to guess what Bandai's gonna make, you know, people like to theorize, oh, Bandai made this kit, so now they're gonna make this kit. If they make an RG Hainu, then some people are gonna start saying, oh, I wonder if Bandai's gonna make an RG Nightingale, which I would say is very, very highly unlikely. An RG Hainu, though, possible. Okay, do you think that Bandai will release... okay, I already just read that one, sorry. Good morning, good morning. Speedball Haro 10, if you did a HG kit bash for the G Gundam, Bolt Gundam, what kits would you suggest? Ew, if you were gonna create the Bolt Gundam by doing kit bashing? I feel like I've just seen someone doing that recently. Right? Have I? Or am I wrong about that? But I don't know. That's a tough one. Because this is a very unique style. I think it would probably make sense to at least use the God Gundam as your base if you're working with the HG. Using the God Gundam as a base and then doing all the modifications on that, I think would probably make sense, because it probably does share at least some similar features. You would obviously still have a lot of heavy customizing ahead of you. And I'd have to go back and look at the kit, you know, carefully to be able to say for sure. But either way, you're in for a lot of work. I think probably what would be your best bet would be to get the 1/44 scale HG Bolt Gundam kit, like the old one, and then get the newer HG God Gundam and kit bash them. Use the HG God Gundam as the base, and then use the parts of the old 1/44 scale Bolt Gundam, and you know, you have to do a lot of modification, but modifying them to look better proportionally and to fit around the God Gundam. Just without thinking about it for too long, if I was gonna do that, that's probably what I would do. There is actually a 1/100 scale Bolt Gundam resin conversion kit that uses the MG God Gundam's frame. Okay, I'm not sure if I've ever seen that or not, but that makes sense. I'm not surprised that that exists. Alright. So here. So once we get this arm done, then the weapons are going to be really quick for this, because we have the beam rifle with just a few parts, and the beam saber, which are obviously just like 2 parts each, so not too much left here. Now then, what's people's favorite resin conversion studio company? Yeah, those of you guys with resin experience, you can feel free to chime in there. I'm noticing these fingers aren't all the same, and I didn't cut them out, and I cut them all out together, so oops. But it should be okay. They're similar enough. I can tell like a couple of the joints are longer than others, so I'll put those where they seem to be the proper length. Like that. Oops. Stay in there, please. Yeah, that's a good question, guys. Let's talk about this because hopefully one of you guys can answer this question for me. What's the deal with the new HG Evangelion kit that's coming out? Because we all know about the RG, but then I saw that there's a new HG coming out as well. What's going on with that? Is that just like a sort of Bandai's like redoing the old HG Eva kit? Because I've seen that it's labeled as like a HG LM Eva Unit 1, and the LM series is the HG LM series is the old series of HG kits. So what's the deal with that? Or is it just a totally new HG kit? If that's the case, it's kind of weird that Bandai would produce a completely new HG and a completely new RG at the same time. Seems very odd. So can one of you who has looked into that let me know what's going on with that? Because so far I haven't seen anything to answer that question for me. What's going on with that? Yeah. HGLM, that's the limited model. Yeah. I know that's the old series of HG that they had. There we go. I think they're reprinting the old limited models. Yeah, that's what it looks like. I didn't look at it in too much detail, but what it looked like is that they're just redoing the old HG Eva kit, but like changing up. I could see there's definitely some difference in like the stickers and maybe like the option parts or effect parts or something. So it looks like maybe based on the old HG, but like with some minor updates to the kit, basically. Is that correct? Yes? There's got a few different things going on in the chat now, so I'm not sure. Anyway, while you guys are contemplating that, get this rifle put together. Yes. Reusing old parts, how original Bandai? Yes, Zero Kai. The thing is though, when it comes to... This is my opinion about this. I mean, people are free to complain about whatever they want. People are gonna complain about things. I understand that, and so it doesn't bother me. But when people complain about Bandai re-releasing kits or reusing parts or something, just for me at least, my general thought is that you don't have to buy it just because Bandai's making it. And yes, I think the point that people are making when they make that point is that they would rather see Bandai putting their money, investing their resources into making new kits rather than re-releasing old kits. I understand that point, but I think just there's so much that Bandai already makes. It's not like if Bandai didn't make any kits like for a year at all, nothing new, and then finally came out with something that was just like a rehashed old kit, I would get the disappointment for sure. But when they're coming out with like 4, 5, 6 new kits, or even 2 or 3 brand new kits every month, and then one of them that's like just a rehashed kit, I'm not really too bothered by it. Like, it's fine, I'm gonna live. Bandai is making a lot of new stuff, And if they do also sometimes make something that's rehashed, I'm not really, you know, whatever. I don't have to buy it. Some people will want to buy it. And good for them. For me, it may not be for me. Someone else may see that and be super excited about it. So, whatever, you know. Oh, where do these go? Like this. Final step. Just putting these beam saber handles. See, I like the beam saber handles. The way they're stored up in here, this kind of extra long length and unique shape to beam saber handles is cool. But this rifle, very uncool. Got a little pilot figure in here as well. And that's a wrap on the Marasai. What do you guys think? Coming out right around the, just about right at the 2-hour mark for the stream here, which is just right on the money. All right. More interesting question. What non-Gundam MS would you pilot if you had to fight the Gundam team from Dubbed Zeta? I guess you mean Double Zeta? If I had to fight the Gundam team from Double Zeta, what non-Gundam MS would I pilot? So like a mobile armor or something? Or just, and I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know. Does the Marasai come with any decals? Yes, the Marasai comes with some decals. Here you've got sticker decals and dry transfers. There you go. So yeah, it's got some. Not great, but there's a few in there anyway. Looks like the suit colors always put me off. Yeah, the suit colors may not be for everyone. I can understand that. I'm also noticing it's quite... I don't have the camera settings very good. Maybe I should turn down the saturation a bit. It's looking maybe a bit oversaturized. There you go. Maybe that's a little bit better anyway. So, yeah. That's pretty much it for the Marasai now then. I think I got these discs, or the tubes are not quite right. But yeah, so the just a couple things. The FAZ is going to be the same time on Wednesday. We're going to have a quiz during the FAZ live stream, so just be ready for that. There's not really much you can do to be ready for that. Just be prepared to type to answer the question fast. There's not really anything that you can do to study, because I'm not giving you guys like a guide as to what the questions are going to cover. But that said, all the questions are going to be related to Gundam, Gunpla in general, and also just like my channel in general. So it's going to be kind of a lot of things. So yeah, that'll be on Wednesday, 10 a.m. Seoul time, 8 p.m. Tuesday evening, New York time. So if you're in the US, if you're in North America, that side of the world, it'll be Tuesday evening for you guys. And yes, and the other thing I was gonna say, the other thing I talked about, like watching Dr. Phil and Marriage Story, these other things that I've been watching recently. But the thing that I've been listening to recently, not like listening to this a ton recently, but listening to some recently that I just wanted to share with you guys. I've been listening to some Nakamura Emi. Any of you guys familiar with Nakamura Emi? Really cool music. I would highly recommend you guys to listen to. Not necessarily if you're a fan of Japanese music or not. Even if you're not, I think it's still pretty good music. And the really funny thing too about it is that my son really likes her music as well. My son, these days, he's often asking me to put on her songs, and he likes dancing, and he's trying to sing along, but he doesn't know any Japanese at all, obviously. He does actually know how to say konnichiwa and arigato, that's all. Which he remembers from when we went to Japan. We taught him how to say that just so he could say some Japanese while we were there in Osaka. But it's funny, he's like he tries to sing along to the songs, and yeah, he's just like singing like the sounds basically, very simply, but it's pretty funny, very cute. So Nakamura Emi, if you guys are into, I don't know how it's sort of like jazzy pop, hip hop kind of music. It's very good, very catchy. I like it. So if you guys are interested, you should check out some. It's pretty cool. I'm more of a metalhead myself, though I'd like to listen to cyberpunk music from time to time. Yeah, I like metal music as well. I like metal, all kinds of music myself. I just also happen to like this as well. So, all right. Familiar, like what I heard, yeah. So that's about it for today's stream, guys. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you on Wednesday for the fast stream. I'm gonna go ahead and get to work on getting those parts ready, and I'll see you then. So, thanks for watching. Bye, guys. Have a good day.